Fast forward to today's global crisis, you could tell a similar story. We certainly saw a lot of cheap credit in Britain and America in the decade before the crash, which did help fuel unsustainable property booms. Northern Rock was one of many financial institutions taking ever greater risks in its lending. When it got into trouble in 2007, panicked savers rushed to withdraw their cash, the first run on a British bank since 1866. It was a sign of the disaster to come.
If things hadn't come to a crash in 2007, 2008, maybe with the corrective medicine, you could have managed the situation back down again through, interest rate monetary policy. As it was, the banking system, which was massively exposed to this, reached a situation where suddenly people realised what had happened, they lost confidence in each other, and the entire edifice came crashing down.
Today's central banks have computer models of the economy light years ahead of anything dreamt up by Benjamin Strong. But even so, Hayek's followers say the Federal Reserve had learned nothing from the mistakes it made in the 1920s. In the early 2000s, it had kept interest rates too low for too long. But then and now, there are plenty who would disagree.
The job of the Fed chairman is to keep the party going, to spike the punch bowl at all costs. Not to take the punch bowl away, which really should be the job. I mean, the Federal Reserve should be independent, but it's not. It acts in concert with the government to try to maintain a phony prosperity.
Interest rates were very low, and that was partly promoted by the fact that the surplus countries, notably China, but others as well, had a lot of money. They were perfectly happy with exporting. It would have been hard to force American interest rates higher in that environment because there was so much money flowing in at low interest rates.
If it was all the Fed's fault, how come Europe had the exact same experience? It's not the fact of the interest rate policy maybe having been wrong, although I'm not even sure I agree on that, but it's the fact that we had these deregulated Wild West financial markets that allowed us to get into the crisis we're in.